Why did Noah build the ark in 40 days? How much time did it take Noah to construct the ark? Although the Bible does not provide a direct answer to the question, it offers some intriguing hints. Let's begin with Genesis 6 verse 3, where God proclaimed that human lifespans would be limited to 120 years. And the Lord said, "My spirit shall not contend with man forever, for he is also flesh. Therefore, his days shall be 120 years. The phrase 120 years has sparked debate, but it probably indicates that there will be 120 years until the flood occurs. Some have argued that God established the upper limit for human lifespans. However, every individual from Noah to Jacob, who was born 12 generations after Noah, lived beyond this limit. I suppose that when we eventually reach heaven, we'll have the chance to ask Jesus himself for the correct interpretation. The essence is that this declaration originated in God's thoughts, and the verse indicates that it was ultimately communicated to an individual, perhaps Methuselah, Noah, Lamech, or Moses, who subsequently documented it. After Genesis 6 verse 3, the clock began ticking. However, this was not the moment when God instructed Noah to construct the ark. Let's examine the context more closely. It is not until verses 13 and 14 that God addresses Noah regarding the ark and the impending flood. In verses 17 and 18, God instructed, "You and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives shall enter the ark with you." Genesis 6 verse 18. It's important to note that Noah had sons who were already married. Noah had his first recorded son at the age of 500, and the flood occurred a century after that. Genesis 7 verse 6. With 25 to 30 years allocated for the sons to mature and marry, we have roughly 70 years remaining to construct the ark. Could Noah really construct the ark in 70 years? As we explore this question, let's set aside any preconceived notions influenced by evolutionary perspectives and consider some plausible ideas rooted in biblical context. Man was a recent creation, freshly conceived in the mind of God, and his intellect was not yet clouded by the millennia of hardship that weigh on us today. Archaeological evidence supports the idea that even those who lived in ancient times after the flood were capable of remarkable achievements and technological progress. In the time before the flood, individuals lived exceptionally long lives, allowing them to continually refine their skills and abilities. Additionally, it doesn't state anywhere that Noah constructed the ark on his own. He might have employed a team of skilled workers who utilized both metal and wooden tools, which are mentioned in the Bible as being accessible to them. Genesis 4 verse 22. Such tools might have been as sophisticated as those we have today. If modern team can construct a full-size wooden Noah's Ark in under 3 years, it's plausible to believe that Noah could have accomplished it in less than 70 years. When we consider Noah and the building of the ark, we often imagine that he spent 120 years on the project. But is that true? The only reference to 120 years can be found in Genesis 6 verse 3. The Lord stated, "My spirit will not contend with humanity indefinitely, for they are truly mortal. However, their lifespan will be limited to 120 years. Some interpret this as a reference to the age of people following the flood. Many individuals lived significantly longer after the New World began to thrive once more. Even 16 generations later, during the time of Moses, people were still living beyond the age of 120. Apart from the Genesis account, the only other scripture that mentions Noah preparing the ark is in 1 Peter 3 verse 20. Peter mentioned that during the time of Noah, divine patience was present while the ark was being built, and through this, a few people, specifically 8 souls, were saved by the waters. There's nothing in this statement that specifies when the ark was constructed. A rational deduction of 120 years might act as a countdown leading up to the flood. The period between God's declaration of the impending flood and Noah's entry into the ark was 120 years. This is quite significant, as it suggests that God is giving these sinful and defiant individuals an opportunity to turn away from their wrongdoings. The Lord observed that the wickedness of humanity had become immense on the earth, and that every inclination of their hearts was solely inclined towards evil, constantly. The Lord regretted having created humanity on the earth and felt a deep sorrow in his heart. The Lord proclaimed, "I will wipe out humanity, whom I have made, along with all creatures, including animals, creeping things and birds of the sky, for I regret having created them. Genesis 6 verse 5 to 7. The following verse states, "However, Noah found favor in the sight of the Lord." 6 verse 8. Once more, we are reminded of God's plan. 6 verse 13. "The time has come for all living beings to stand before me." The Bible does not specifically mention the duration of Noah's construction of the ark, but various verses suggest that it did not take 120 years. For instance, Noah was 500 years old when he began to have children. Genesis 5 verse 32. He became a father for the first time at the age of 100, 2 years after the flood, when he welcomed his son, who was the grandson of Noah. Genesis 11 verse 10. This indicates that Shem was 98 years old at the time of the flood. When we calculate, we find that Shem was born when Noah was 502 years old. Therefore, Japheth was likely the eldest, while Ham was Noah's younger son. Genesis 9 verse 24. When God instructed Noah to construct the ark, it was not at the start of the 120-year timer. At that moment, God instructed Noah that he, along with his wife, their 3 sons, and the sons' wives, were to board the ark. Genesis 6 verse 14 to 18. It is logical to believe that Noah's sons were already born and of an age suitable to have spouses. There were just 100 years between the birth of Noah's first son and the time he entered the ark. Genesis 7 verses 6 and 7. If we consider a period of around 20 to 25 years for his sons to mature and marry, Noah would have approximately 65 to 75 years to finish building the ark. While some might hold a different viewpoint, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that Noah could have received assistance from his sons and a few local workers to accomplish the task. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting content like this one. Bye for now and see you in my next video.